the lumber word. Damn, do we over prepare for this one, guys? Episode
I
161, I think this is. So much to talk about.
Somebody got like the radio going on in the background.
Matt's over. Like Charles is over prepared every week.
Matt sent me a text this morning when I was having breakfast.
I'm over prepared because I only get to speak 3 sentences. Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
We'll give you 4 today for sure.
Oh man,
Matt, you
Charles,
were
raising my allotment with us.
Matt, you were asking before we
Tell me
started.
how you really feel, Charles. We're here for psychological support.
You were asking before we started if we were busy, and it's. I went home yesterday frustrated because I felt like I came in yesterday morning at like early. It's like 6-ish, and laid out all my stuff, and I was going to sell this, and this, and I didn't sell hardly anything yesterday. So this morning I came in, and all the hard work that I had prepared yesterday, all of a sudden orders started piling in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, F it. I'm just going to sell more of this. And Greg said thumbs up, and we just so we're busy.
Yeah.
In the arena that we trade in, and I'm noticing it from, what we talked about on the podcast last week. If people had to step in and start building some extra inventory or start dealing with it just in time, and I think I can tell you from where I'm sitting at in the last 2 days, trading days, that started to happen, and people have started to pile in. I can say on the spruce side, up in the Northeast and the area we trade in all the way down to Florida. And still people calling saying, hey, do you have those from yesterday?
Yeah.
And, that was part of the thing this morning. And maybe I'm getting angry as an older guy where I just said, hey, I sent you those at 6:30 in the morning because they were great deals. And you didn't buy them. And I go, they were gone at like 7:30. And there's a lot of that, a lot of volume, a lot of trucks that are going to carload guys. And, and people are starting to pay more freight. So that's what I'm living. What about you, Matt? What do you?
I feel like it's a broken record for me because I've been busy. The item, I specialize in utility number 3, and that's really hard to buy. And so it's kind of nichey. And then a lot of this business is in one part of the country that seems to also be busier than other parts. So I'm busy and have been for quite a while. And then, it's kind of a broken record. So I'm busier than the average guy sitting around me. We're selling lumber every day. And I would say that if I had to rank kind of the different commodities that we trade that are from good to worst, I would say that studs are the top, low grade and studs are at the top of that list in terms of liquidity and volume. And then dimension lumber is somewhere in the middle. And there's really nothing that's bad right now. I mean, we're in the wrong time of year for that to be the case. But I'm definitely busier on the low grade stuff than the guys that are selling like 2 and better spruce or hemp fir or Doug fir are. And, we're nudging prices up a little bit on studs and, we have order files in April, but it's hard to nudge prices very much on like just 2x4 and 2x6, 2 and better lumber. We're at, that 575 to 600 Midwest price range on 2x4, and 2x6 is like 625, 635, and it's trading. But I can still buy like cheap 2x4 12s and 14 spruce and hem fir. And they're basically real close to the number 3 price now, right? So I'm wondering if we had a good futures close. The March contract close, I thought that was positive. And then we closed last week, I think in the low 600s or high 590s in the May, which is also positive. And those types of technical indicators tell me that 2 and better prices probably should go up from here. And the fact that 12s and 14s are already near the number 3 price also tells me that. And I'm just sort of waiting for it to happen. It's like I've already been busy, and yet there's a bunch of 2 and better lumber laying around that nobody seems to care about, which maybe you're seeing a different story on your quick trucks, but on the rail market, it's like a a 6 out of 10 in terms of the sales pace, and then on the stuff I'm doing is like a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna give some advice, to you, Matt, and any of our listeners that get on that. Buy. You asked, are we busy? We're as busy
especially
as we ever
12s and
are.
14s.
12s and 14s. Ash said, like he got a little frustrated on I got hammered yesterday on 2x4 14s, which were, they weren't really moving and they're super undervalued. And so I actually came in this morning and was buying those when Ashley sent over that he had just sold a whole bunch at our new pricing. For the other thing, Matt, is we came into the week quoting the week of 4.6 on truckloads. That's lumber we have on the ground. We have our largest backlog of orders to ship that I can remember having. I'm quoting, and orders are now coming in for the week of May 13th, which is, April 13th, which is what we're quoting now on most trucks is, April 13th or sooner. That's
Which Greg, I think it's also people are using that as they're building inventory off that too. That's actually starting to work for them now.
Right. They're building,
they're using you like a
they're
sawmill.
staying in order flow, right?
Yeah.
if you're a just in time, big buyer, you need to keep buying so you have wood coming in every week, and if you have to be buying 4 or 5 weeks out, stacking it, right, to stay in the order file.
What about Charles?
New mill shipments on cars. There's the April 30th. Now mills are quoting the first. March 30th, and mills are quoting the first week in April. That's lumber that's not going to be until the end of April, right?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah,
if you're lucky.
I am.
What about Charles' business?
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious what the Yellow Pine's doing.
Because I see, Charles, I saw East Side is now a premium to Western Mill, and it's starting to move toward its old historical. Like it's moving, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not sitting still. I mean, the premiums on print are astronomical, somewhat unsustainable in my little perspective, my little pea brain. The big red flag for me, or the big cause for caution in this whole thing is how much has spruce in the cash market gone up since November?
Depends on the item.
100.
Just 2x4 16s.
Oh, 80.
Over 100. 125 to 150 current. We're currently selling 715 to 725 delivered, and that stuff was trading sub 600.
So $115, $120.
Call it 125.
All right, 125. So if you look at the low 2x4 16 and just take a cash price, sub $400 at, call it 375 before this whole thing started in November, and now it's going into a 5-month kind of bull run, right? Is really where we're at.
And what are 16s
traded
Pines? So you're saying they were sub 400 and now they're what?
560, 570 in the central.
How much does it cost to take it to if you're talking central,
$200 a thousand, right?
If you're 560, 570 central, what's that delivered to a market that it should go to? So pick a market that
let's just say all right, here's a discussion I had earlier. Well, here's a discussion I had earlier today. If you were to deliver 2x4 16 2 and better spruce to Indianapolis, what would it cost? Delivered right now,
720.
We're probably quoting 705, 715 right now. Ash,
are you talking spruce or pine here, Charles?
Spruce.
We're 705 right now on spruce.
705.
Right? Pine would deliver into Indy around 640 to 650, depending on where it's coming from. So there's still a discrepancy between the two. But if you look at how pine has carried spruce or moved first over the past 2 years, the spread and the velocity at which it changed usually is like in kind. And I feel like spruce went first, then pine just never stopped. There was a 2-week pause. People thought that was the end, and now we're $40 up on print and $60 premiums. Sustainability, long-term order files. If you're selling in April,
one thing I've noticed, Charles, is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think, yep.
Hold on.
Matt?
Charles, we lost him. I had a question for him.
There, he's back on in the she shed.
Excuse me.
The she shed. I like that. So, Charles, one thing I've noticed here in the last couple of weeks is that all the yellow pine number 3 guys that had switched over from whitewoods to yellow pine the last
they're probably
year and a half,
knocking your
years.
door down.
Oh yeah, they're slamming my door down. They're running through the door. They're not even looking for the stop sign. They're like, "Hey, what do you got?"
Yep.
And I wondered if there's much of a spread between number 3 yellow pine and number 2 yellow pine, because it doesn't appear like there is based on their behavior.
Are they roll stopping the stop sign and then stopping doing the Seinfeld?
No, dude, they're just hit
stopping
the
short?
accelerator. Yeah, they're like,
They don't even. Yeah, they probably don't even see the stop sign. I mean, they're. I mean, I've
Anyhow.
heard stories of mills selling number 3 for over $500, to be honest, and that's crazy. I'm all about a bull run and I'm all about price continuity, but I think it all depends on order file. And if you have an order file, you have the ability to create that stable footing. I.e., if Greg, for your example, you're selling trucks and you're getting POs for April, you have no reason to discount your wood because you're sold till April, right? But if you're a mill or you're a producer or you're a secondary, whatever the case may be, and you produce a product or you trade a product and you're not quoting out time in this environment, something's going to change. I just don't know what, and I don't know at what volume. So I just swing the bat.
And the other thing is
I don't know.
that, we're quoting on a delivered basis. Our prices are up considerably because, we're having to quote higher freight also. I mean, we're probably
100%. I mean, us too. I mean,
we're $10 to $30
our freight to Central Florida is up
more freight than we were a month ago.
how much?
Same.
$10 to $30 a thousand, depending on where we're going.
Yeah.
And in some cases we're no quoting because we have so many trucks backed up. I mean, like you asked me for a truck from the Northeast to Georgia today, and I'm a no quote because we got so many orders to ship.
Well, no,
I've
that's
got
crazy.
And you're just competing with yourself on capacity.
I'll go back to Matt and say, let's talk about Georgia and Florida. We used to ship down to Florida day in and day out at $80 a thousand out of the Northeast and 60 into Georgia. Those rates are insane now. Some of those are like Georgia, Greg, what, 80, 90 to get down there?
I
1,000?
think I just booked a couple of trucks that, divided by $95.
The Georgia, so that's going to change the whole dynamics of people are going to start buying more rail car, especially with truck shipment getting out this far. That didn't normally. So Matt, back to you. Sorry about that. I interrupted you when you had a thought process going there.
Oh, I just was going to say I'm paying about $200 to $300 per truck higher now. So that's
That'd be great.
$7 to $11. Yeah, but you got to remember, Greg, a lot of my hauls are 100 miles or 50 miles or maybe 200 miles. I mean, it's not like I'm going from Boston to Miami. And so, I seem to be able to get the trucks and I have been able to pass on the extra cost to the end users. And I am still getting people running through my stop sign, trying to buy stuff that I quoted on Monday, like you alluded to, Ashley. That stuff's been sold, and I'm not of a mindset to change my posture because it's so hard to buy this stuff right now that, I have to meter out what I have to make it last. And it's not just because I'm being greedy. It's because I've got contract commitments that I have to back up with my inventory in case I can't cover them on rail cars. And I have some contracts that are truck contracts anyhow. So I've got to have a certain amount of inventory staged and ready, and I got to think a month or 2 months out ahead, right? It's like I can't just do it tomorrow. I've got to plan on this stuff. So I have to be cagey about how I sell it, and with how difficult it is to buy it and how difficult it is to move it around, it just reinforces what I said last week, which is, the incentive for me to sell it and just get rid of it is not there. And I mean, I hope it changes. I hope we go back to a more balanced market at some point, but in the short term, it just tells me to pay really close attention to whatever the mills have in number two that they can offer me that's a value, and just buy it, and not even really put much thought into it. Just buy it.
Yeah, I'm seeing. So Matt Lehman was saying he's seeing more panic buying this week. Too much, too late in the preparation season, and yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of made that critical error of saying, "Hey, the economy doesn't look really good, so that should equate to lower lumber prices," and that never works, right? One, because we don't really know how the economy looks, and two, because lumber isn't a direct result in the short term of what the economy is doing, right? People see housing numbers or whatever, and I think repair and remodel is doing good. I think this home building is doing good if you get away from the fear porn articles out there, which I advise everybody does.
Did you say porn?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
I mean, there are
like, what does lumber porn look like anyhow?
You'll know it when you see. You know it when you see it.
Yeah, there are some negative real estate, whatever you call fear, whatever.
Yeah,
there are some markets that are suffering, but Portland's not one of them, which kind of surprises me because Portland's taken it on the chin here as a city in the last 5 to 10 years, and we're not as popular as we used to be when that Saturday Night Live guy was making Portlandia. But the real estate in Portland's interesting because it started off slow. January was slow, and they were talking about it being a down year, and maybe not as good as last year. And last year was down. And the numbers of people moving to Portland and the numbers of people moving out of Portland have not been pretty if you read the local news the last 5 years. So then I was talking to a real good friend of mine, a good realtor here in Portland. He said February just blew the wheels off of January. And so now they're above the pace of what they were last year. And all just happened in a short month in February where it rained half the month. And so I don't know what's going on, but I know that development that they're building right behind me where I live, they've slapped up in the last 5 months. I mean, they've slapped up like 40 new homes that are going to sell for a minimum of $750,000, and a couple of mansions that are going in. They're $2 million, McMansions that people already paid for. They're custom builds. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm so confused,
man. You
so
know what?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you remember over the last 4 to 5 weeks of the pod, we went from being bullish to being bearish to being bullish to being bearish, and really kind of vacillating. And the conclusion that I came to was, we were pretty much in equilibrium. I think what the freight issue has highlighted is that maybe we've flipped from equilibrium, and that the curtailments in 2024 and 2025 have overshot where current end use consumption is. And so the real question is, lumber producers are great at killing rallies, right? Where and when is their new production coming on board? So, number one, and we can look at, European lumber, and we can say, well, you know what, at $700 FOB port on 2x4 and 2x6 16s, there's probably more lumber that's going to come, right? But it's 6 to 8 weeks away. At the current spruce numbers, Matt, mills are all losing money, right?
Yeah.
Still?
Allegedly. I mean, yeah.
And Greg,
at these current prices, is U.S. production going to go up?
No. I mean, the U.S. mills are probably not making any money on green lumber right now. I don't think it's profitable. I don't think it's a loser, but I don't think it's profitable. I don't think they're really making very much money on dry dug fir, if at all. The only hope that they have really of the three different species that they run the most of, and I'm talking about the Western U.S. mills, not the inland guys. The inland guys have a different log cost structure. But the dry hem fir is probably profitable right now. So if you're producing dry hem fir studs and dry hem fir dimension, there's a small margin in it, but not enough to go add a bunch of shifts and hire a bunch more workers and then buy more logs and jump the price of hem fir logs up. So,
and what you were alluding to last week is that everybody was running Doug fir. They weren't running hem fir right now.
Right. And that'll switch though, Greg, as we get into warmer season here. I think one of the reasons why the mills run heavier Doug fir in the winter is because Doug fir dries well. You know, it's a really easy species to run through the kiln. It dries uniformly. And hem fir and pine in the West don't dry as easily. And so during the colder winter months, they tend to just run more Doug fir. It just runs the mill more efficiently. It's just easier to saw, honestly. But
every time you say kiln, Matt, I think of Animal House when the guy went to that sorority and he was looking for Fawn Leibowitz, and the person said that she died in a pottery kiln fire.
The kiln accident, yeah.
So, Charles,
I don't think Charles saw that movie. He was too young.
But we were in October, November, and we were looking at pine prices. 2x6s sub $300 mill, and you did like a great job of saying, hey, what is log costs and et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, I think at that point in time, we told guys they should load up every warehouse they could with 2x6s, and
that's why
that was one of the best trades we never did.
That's why Charles got into cattle trading. He loaded like 20 warehouses up with it.
Right, and just like put his feet up like Boss Hog, right?
Yeah.
But at today's prices, are pine mills making money, Charles?
Yeah. I mean, if you're selling number 3 at $400, yeah. I mean, if you're selling number 3 at $400 plus, no matter what the width is, I mean, you're making plenty of money.
So do you anticipate
I don't know.
Pine producers increasing production over the next 60 to 90 days?
I don't think so. I think they're going to play it a little bit better than that. I think if they do anything, they'll extend order files, which I would do if I was a primary producer, right? I wouldn't quote a 5 to 7 day window. I'd quote a damn 25-day window.
Yeah.
And say, if you want to buy it, here's your price. Kind of like spruce, right? But
that's how they that's how they get control of the market, right?
110%. Because I mean, otherwise, if I have a conversation with anybody, and if somebody has a conversation with me and they say, well, how quick can you get it? And I say, oh, well, I just got it laying around, or, oh, it's this extremely high price, but I don't know, I can't quote it past, next Wednesday. What's their confidence in that price, stabilization there? They're not. I mean, there's potential downside because you don't know what's on the backside of that transaction. But I will say that with primaries pushing these premiums the way they are, and us having to look at it, and Greg, you've always said this, you got to sell above replacement cost. And, these premiums pushing and escalating as quickly as they have. I mean, people are stepping up to the plate and paying them. For probably about 4 or 5 days between last week and the first couple of days this week, it was very questionable as far as who was going to pay it. But now people are seeing that, it's kind of a necessary evil. But I don't know, man. I'm just here to play the game. I don't really have a directional feel for it. I know that.
I mean, if I asked you to quote a job for me,
if I can't get,
if I said, hey, Charles, I was just gonna say, if I had a job, I wanted you to quote me in yellow pine 2 and better, 2x4 and 2x6 delivered to, Springfield, Missouri, or something like that for starting late May. Would you just take today's prices and use that, or would you have to go an extra 50 or 100? I mean, what do you feel is appropriate risk right now in yellow pine?
No, I'd have to put I mean, to go today's number at a $60 premium over print and cash are 40 to 50 bucks. And I mean, that's very situational too. I mean, we put together a lot of custom programs to where premium forward for our client base. Oh, I mean, it's
right, but
I mean, 2 to 6,
it's not like you're just willing to sell into this price.
Offers.
Where at, Charles? Were you giving offers?
2 to 6 18s are a solid $60 to $70 over, and I buy a rat shit ton of them. Right, I buy a ton of 6-inch raw material, a ton of 4-inch and 8-inch raw material, but you know, in the short term, there's fear. Long term, there's risk of, okay, there's a blow off, and then we have higher lows. And if spruce does tighten and it does escalate to mid sevens to $800, to your point, Matt, pine's gonna follow $100 gap down, right? Or gap trading
up,
value gap, right? Yeah. So I mean, prime example, that Indy number 640 to 650. If 2 before 16 spruce is at 710. I mean, there's $60.
Yeah, but I mean, having said all this, like I said at the beginning, we're not super busy, and none of the mills that I talk to out west here are super busy on just regular old gut ball 2 before 2 to 6 random. I mean, it's just trading. It's a trading market. It's not. There's no excitement.
Well,
to it.
And that's
a positive.
The thing, right? I mean,
that's
part of my conundrum is. I don't know if it's a positive. I mean, if you're not able to move, stock links and keep liquidity.
No, the thing is we can, and we do have order files. So our mills, if you just peruse the room, and I think this is true really all the mills in the West right now, whether they're Canadian or US mills, all of the mills that I deal with in the Western half of this continent have order files to at least 330. In a lot of cases, week of 4.6, and some of the stuff's being quoted week of 4.13. And so there's order files, right? When I say that there's no excitement, I just mean like you can't really raise the prices. It's like it's just boring trading, like flat market, stable with a slight upward lean to it.
Yeah, but look at
Matt, but Matt, that like
look how
when
fast
you have
it moved,
a 3 and 4 week shipping file, that's when you have two choices. You either jam the price higher and turn it off, or you don't move the price very much higher and you keep that shipping file.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what's happening. And it's really boring.
And you keep control of the market. The market's not going to fall when a mill has a 3 or 4 week shipping file, is it?
No. And I don't think anyone expects it to. It's just the level of excitement that I'm experiencing at my desk, or Charles is at his desk, or you are. So the four of us are a little bit, we're a little bit biased in how we're seeing things is kind of the point I'm trying to get to, because what we're doing is really good and really busy and really difficult, but that's not the case for everybody. There's a lot of people that are listening to this podcast kind of like going, what the hell are they talking about? Because they're not experiencing that level of excitement or activity. The fact that we are doing a lot of trucks and people use us as an inventory hedge, and this is kind of prime time of the year for that service, makes us a little bit biased to the upside, is what I'm saying. Now, if Kip was here like he was 3 weeks ago, and he's saying that production's down 25, 30% in Canada, and I believe him, I have no reason not to believe him. If that's the case, then something's got to give, right? We're going through the busiest time of the year, the next 90 days. And you can't have spruce sitting there flat as a pancake at 565 to 585 Chicago forever. That can't stay that way, because number 3 will just run by it. Is what's going to happen. I mean, if I was a
seeing that
guy, I'd be buying the crap out of it.
When 2 and 3, Matt, you always tell me when 2 and 3 are the same price, that means 2 is going to go up.
Yeah, well, it should, but it hasn't, and that's the thing that blows me away.
That's where my call for caution is. And maybe I didn't express it the correct way, but that's it, right? I mean, you've got compression in grades and pricing structures. You've got compression in species pricing. You've got spruce production is down 25%. And, to your point, it's quasi, I mean, it's moved and it's reacted, but it hasn't done what anybody thought it was going to do. honestly.
Yeah. These markets are never quite the same. They might remind you of a previous market, but the way they actually go is always a mystery. And, if I'm a betting man, I think prices are generally significantly higher in 30 days on just about everything. And I'm not talking 10 or 15 bucks. I'm talking 30 to $100 on everything. And I feel like we're getting off to a slow start because the weather was a problem this year for more than half the country. And maybe some of these things got pushed back a little bit, but as the weather improves in other states not named Texas, I feel like there's going to be some people that are wondering where they're going to find their next truck or car of material because it's going to be hard to buy.
Hey Ash, can I
Yeah.
get in the weeds? Can I get in the weeds a little bit for some folks? When Matt, when you say that there's people listening to the podcast won't know what I'm talking about, this may be that time. But Kip, who is a great guest, and we love having him on, he sent us out a little thing the other day, which was piqued my interest. And it had to do with the makeup of the futures
You saw it too?
Huh? What's that?
You saw it too?
Yeah.
You saw it
makeup
too?
The makeup of the futures market, currently industry is basically, long 65, 70% of the contracts, and funds are short 65 to 70% of the contracts. And it's been that way for the last year-ish plus. And the funds have made money nonstop, and the industry is, it lost money and rolled and lost more money.
But the industry is smart money, technically. Just saying.
I
Just
love
saying.
this business. You know that.
It's because you and Greg are participants, Ash.
But as Kip correctly pointed out, over the last, I think it was 4 years, every time the funds have moved from a big short position to a big long position, the market's rallied between $125 and $200 a thousand. What if, right? That's how we get, Matt. That's how we get to your 800 high of the year. How many people in the industry think 2x4s can go to spruce can go
In
to
a hurry.
$800 delivered?
Nobody, not
How
even
many
me.
people on this? How many people here think that could happen?
I mean, I did, but now I'm questioning my own sanity. And
Yeah.
I said last week I was going to drop my prediction down to like low 700s, not 800. Chicago, I'm talking Chicago prices, just because of all the stuff that I've been talking about. So I hope you're right. It would be nice. The funds have made a lot of money being short, and so did you and anyone else that hedged their inventory last year. Now, granted, we had to give some of that back on our cash sales, but being short the board from April of last year till November, December paid.
Yeah, but to your point, to your point, I'm pretty sure you're right. I mean, if somebody thought the board was going to 800, we'd be at 700 right now.
Yeah, and I'm just, I don't want to go ahead. Keep going.
I did notice, Greg, you were talking about euro.
What?
And I noticed that all of a sudden, mysteriously, all of the euro guys at the same time raised their prices, like in the Cape on 2x4 16s to 700, like yesterday. And I think we're going to see a lot less coming over, because you mentioned people want 700 for their 16s coming over here for April. Unfortunately, they also want it for the 10s, 12s, and 14s, right? And same with 2x6. So I wonder how much even are we going to see the same amount of euro coming over, or what are we going to see?
I mean, it looks like we're seeing less now, and I anticipate we'll see less. If decisions are made today to bring more over, you're going to be you're not going to see that until June, July, right? I mean, so the next chance to have a big increase in Euro lumber at ports is going to be June, July. Other than that, it's going to be the run rate that it has been at, which is down somewhere between 30 and 40% from a year ago.
Gotcha. I mean, so like Matt, you like bringing this up all the time. What inning if this is a ball game, what inning are we in right now in this move?
First, maybe second. I mean, we just are now starting. It's like I said, it's been a delayed start, and we haven't even really seen the dry whitewood species. So that'd be your hem fir and your spruce make significant gains on futures prices or mill quoting prices. The only thing that changed here in the last 5 trading days was when one of the big majors pulled their EFP list right before the close of the futures contract last week. So why did they do that? I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't care.
They didn't have any more shorts.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
they didn't have any more shorts.
Did they not have the lumber?
No, they had the lumber. I mean, listen, that same they had the lumber because they're still manufacturing. They were still shipping January deliveries to us 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Right? I mean, they finished doing January deliveries at the end of February.
Huh.
But yeah, no, they didn't have any more shorts on, Matt.
So
I mean, I get the feeling that some of the majors aren't completely able to cover all their contract and VMI commitments, because I've seen a slight increase in. What happened?
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
You went dark on us.
Yeah, that was weird.
Kicked you off.
You went Donnie Darko.
I've seen a slight increase on some of that buying, or at least the inquiry of particular locations that I don't always get very much volume to. I mean, I get a car here and a car there, but all of a sudden I'm getting 3 cars to those locations, or 2 cars.
Greg, Dave was saying on the comment, he said there's currently 5,000 trucks in the Cape. That's about average, right? Because we had 10 to 15 at one point.
5,000 trucks?
Yeah.
Divided by no. When the Cape was fully loaded, they had close to 30,000 trucks, and they were shipping 200 trucks a day. They had like 90 days worth of shipments at the high. They're probably shipping 125 trucks a day right now. So, I mean, that's what's that, 40 days?
My question on that 5,000 trucks is how much has been sitting on the ground since last June?
Oh, God.
Right? Some of it, right?
That blows me away that people will do that. I mean, you got to deal with
that's good information
shrapnel.
from Dave on that one. But that's one thing, we keep an eye on is how much is in there. And isn't it funny how a number looks like a lot, how much our industry can eat up and stuff. And the thing with trucks now from the port, especially down in the Cape, is you can't get it as far.
Are you guys having trouble not only like with what you're paying for trucks, but just the availability, the volume availability?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How about you, Charles? Are you having that problem?
Yeah, and it goes back to Greg's point of not selling too much in one like localized area, because then you're just competing with yourself on capacity.
Well, I guess I should be happy that I'm still able to get the trucks I need. I just got to pay more for them.
Well, Matt, you're probably also getting the same truckers that you've been using all the time. And like, we have people that'll do the route from the Northeast down to Charlotte every week at a good price, and they'll do 5 loads or 7 loads.
Yeah.
But they won't, but we have 25 to do.
Oh.
Right. And there's a big difference between what they've been charging us and what somebody else will when you have to do something will charge you for it, right? Sometimes twice as much.
Are you guys?
Yeah, open market
still
freight rates are rough.
What happens when a guy calls in and says, "Hey, can you quote this?" And then you do, and he's, "Can you get it to me tomorrow?" How many of those phone calls have you gotten?
I give him the address of the reload and say, you can pick it up tomorrow. I can't do your freight for you.
Yeah,
Right.
I've had a lot of those recently too. It kind of, I mean, I'll make a phone call and see if we can snag a trucker, but the price just goes double. I mean, not on
Yeah.
my price, but the trucking price. So if it's a $500 haul, it's going to be $1,000 haul to guarantee overnight.
Matt, quick question for you, Charles, Greg. Have you noticed what group came in first and started buying inventory? I could tell the ones that I deal with, it was the independent and they're large companies, but they're not privately held or anything like that. They're people that can turn on stuff pretty fast. And even today, like people that were buying the undervalued 2x4 12s and 14s were people that can turn pretty fast and don't have to wait for a corporate board meeting to buy, so to speak, or to get the okay to build the inventory an extra week or two. And I mean, that's why I still think there's enough area beneath that gas pedal in the floorboard that people can still push down a little bit going forward here.
What you're saying,
if you know, like the fundamental question is, you know, you have supply and you have demand. You know, the market's always trying to seek equilibrium. And you know, if we're producing one more stick than the demand, prices are going to fall over time. They'll fall more rapidly during periods of seasonal weakness, right? But you know, like the basic question is right now is end use consumption greater than the current production levels? And if it is, then we're going to continue to like grind substantially higher. And, you know, I mean, I don't know that we'll get to your 800 on spruce, but I mean, there's another $100 up. I mean, I'll tell you, based on the futures, you know, we're close to breaking out and scampering $50. And if all of a sudden you're going to be, you know, spruce is going to be 670 to 680 Chicago on random 2x4, that's a completely, I mean, that's a game changer right now, isn't it?
yeah. Yes, it is. Here it comes. It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Never a dull moment. And can you imagine what things would be like if we didn't have $110 oil and, you know, bombs flying? Holy smokes, huh?
I mean, you got to think that housing, like Ashley said, is sort of its own little world. It's not necessarily
for sure
tied to those things, but you know, we're more sensitive to interest rates. We're more sensitive to money. You know, how loose is the money supply? How tight are the banks? So those types of things affect housing more. There was a piece of legislation that they're talking. I don't know if they're going to pass it or not, but
let's hope they don't. It's garbage.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Absolutely terrible piece of legislation.
I would like to see some legislation that limits the amount that municipalities and states and counties can receive as a percentage of the total project cost. Right? If you look at how much of the money goes to permits and taxes on building new homes or a new apartment, it's, you know, maybe it should be capped at 2 or 3% or something of the total fund allocation, but I think it's more like 10 or 15%, maybe 20% in some instances. When I did my addition on my house, it was over 10% for the city of Portland. And yeah, I just those types of things
all of that stuff is local in nature, right? I mean,
yeah, can they change it and make a federal? No, they cannot.
No.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't. The last thing we need is putting, you know, Elizabeth Warren in charge of like housing. I mean,
what, you don't trust her?
It's like, hey, if the answer was like big government control of everything, then the Soviet Union and Venezuela would be ruling the world. I do want to give a big shout out to the Venezuelan baseball team for their victory yesterday in the World Series. I mean, God, I mean, I could just see Maduro like watching the game cheering.
Where do you come up with this
Oh
stuff?
yeah, I'd pay to be in that cell.
And hey,
I had no idea
has
that was
everybody
even
filled
going
out
on.
their basket? Has everybody filled out their March Madness brackets? Who do you like? I want to hear. Come on, let's go. I mean,
I did one.
I heard
I don't
myself.
watch basketball.
I heard Notre Dame
chose-
made an announcement that they decided they don't want to go to the tournament.
they're not going to play.
Yeah. I chose Arizona in the one bracket that I
What?
did, and then I sent a copy of.
Yeah.
Well, Arizona's pretty good. They got apparently they got 4 guys that are going pro. But I sent one to my son Drew, who's in college, and he'll be a better. And I'm hoping to see what he's gonna make his picks and send them back to me, and I'll submit those. I doubt.
I always do one bracket with KU winning because that's where I sent a lot of money. I do you know, the committee rewarded Miami of Ohio for having an undefeated regular season with matching them up against the against a tough play-in. If they can beat Tennessee, I think they have to play Arkansas. So
They didn't even make the field of 64.
no, they play in tonight. They play in
man,
tonight.
that's terrible.
Oh, it's a play-in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I think the undertone of this whole conversation is nobody really knows what the hell's going on. We're just participating in a market. Honestly,
We have
Well,
a
I think
disclaimer that states that on the podcast.
I think we
Charles.
know what's going
I know.
on.
I
in our
just feel
little
like I'm not like
micro
bringing
world.
any value because I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't really have a method right now. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
like,
so
okay,
let
this
me
is how I'm
ask you
gonna
this:
market.
I think
if
Charles
you-
was freeballing it.
if you're a multifamily buyer that has,
I mean, I'm hedged and I'm protected. Don't get me wrong, but
no, if you're a multifamily buyer that hasn't locked in business for the second and third quarter, well, there's no way the second quarter you've definitely locked it in. It's the third and the fourth quarter. What do you do today? Do you cover it at what somebody gives you the premium today at, or do you hold it if you're locked in with your sell price and figure you're going to get a better chance to buy it in June or July for an August, September start, right?
Well, since a lot of those guys sell
I think if you
at like $1,000 a thousand to their end use contractors, I think they're probably okay covering 50% of it and holding the other 50%, like we say. But I think one thing like we forget about, some of this multifamily gets sold at pretty damn high prices when you look at some of the you go downstream to some of the people we're talking about, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I was looking at work in the second and third quarter, I'd just cover it. I mean, like right now, you can still.
I mean,
go out
second
and
quarter,
make some.
I would cover 40% of it. Third quarter, I'd probably cover 25. I whatever the front load is, 25 to 33%. Usually, and obviously, Pine is kind of leading the way as far as products and multifamily. Usually, historically, July is a pullback in Pine. What does that level look like? We don't know, but we know it's probably not going to be $280 a thousand like it has been the past couple of years. And if you got an August, September start, you're right on the cusp of another quasi appreciation period, right? In a seasonal pull and appreciation. So if you cover 30 to 40% of it, you have the ability to kind of trade the back half or set up some sort of specific distribution deal on it. I mean, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, but I think if you don't have 30 to 40% of Q2 covered by now, this can be rough.
If you're a pro yard and you've been keeping your inventory at 30 to 45 days, actually trying to squeeze it down for at periods over the last 12 to 18 months, which has been a great strategy. What do you do now? Do you stay with that strategy, or do you go, whoa,
don't change anything?
Maybe we need to now be looking at 60 to 75 days.
You go into the
I don't think you change the strategy.
You call the guy, you call the person that they hired that's got the 5 black belts in distribution, ninja, quality
Six Sigma.
from 7 universities, who tells you how you should buy in theory, not in reality. And you tell them, hey, ninja, the trucking is a lot more money and I can't get it as fast. And the ninja says to you, don't worry about it, son, because my textbook says if you keep doing it like this, you'll be fine. All of a sudden, you wake up 30 days from now and realize that you're almost not doing the job you're supposed to as a buyer and you're running out of lumber.
Yeah.
And I think some people are waking. There's some people we know in the industry for a long time that are buyers, and they just go in and start buying, right? And some of those people that I call the smart buyers have started doing it in the last few
Yes.
weeks, and they're going around their ninja, so to speak. They're
Yeah.
buying, and they're going to be the ones that don't run out and are going to be okay. But I think that's why, as Matt Lehman pointed to, you're seeing some panic buying. And as Greg said, what do you do? I think some people are trying to get just their days of inventory back to what they were based on the new trucking freight and the extended ship times. I feel like we're all dumber for hearing that. But
no,
no,
the challenge that the industry has is that what ends up happening is when the prices move up like this, their outtake actually goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the other thing is the formulas are saying that business is better because the retail prices don't stay in pace with the market prices. In some cases, there's retail prices out in the field that are lower than today's replacement cost. And
another thing, Greg, that happens here this time of year is some framer company or developer comes in and all of a sudden puts in an order to the sales team, unbeknownst to the buying group, and the guy takes, 37 trucks of all the prime links. And so all of a sudden the next day, this guy gets his report on his desk as a purchasing agent and says, oh my God, you're down to 12 days of inventory on these links. And so the alarm bells go off and I get emails. Hey, I need to fill in some trucks here. And I'm not the only one who gets those emails. You guys get them too. But that kind of stuff is happening also. And it'll continue to happen through the next, probably until Memorial Day.
That's a good point, Matt. And if you are a framer that listens to this, that buy from people and somebody has given you a price that's a pretty good value relative to, if you want to look at print or whatever you look at, and they're holding the price for you to make a decision. I mean, this is just my own opinion. Go freaking step on the gas and lock it down with them.
Yeah.
Make them, if they're giving you a price that's too good to be true, take it, transfer your risk.
Yep.
And that's what,
this isn't the time to screw around, right? I mean, if we're having this conversation in August, maybe have a different attitude, but this is the heart of the building season and we're off to a slower start than normal year because the weather's been tough. Well, here we go, guys. Hold on. It's going to get interesting here for the next little while. What if the mills all of a sudden sell 3-4 week order files and raise their prices 30, 40, 50 bucks? And now what do you do? And then you can't get quick trucks because Ashley can't book them. I can't book them.
In the world that I live in Eastern Spruce and some other markets, I haven't seen too many big mill lists that have multiple items on them anymore.
Yeah, they did their job 3 weeks ago. They dumped a bunch of cheap lumber in February, and now they're just riding the tide back up again.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
They did a good job. They did a good job. Building.
All right, boys. It's been an hour. I think it's time to.
Holy shit! Yes, it has been.
Charles, come on. You're smarter for having spent this time with us today, aren't you?
I'm always smarter anytime I get to spend time with you.
Hey, Charles, can I ask you?
Matt.
Can I ask you a 3-word question, Charles? Charles, can I ask you? Are you short?
Am I short?
Yeah, I'm
shorter than you.
No, short, like short lumber. Because it felt like you were saying the way you were angry at the market. It felt like you were short, like lumber.
No, I'm not angry at the market. I mean, if I can't,
who are you angry at?
Over replacement cost?
Yeah.
I mean, if I get barely over replacement cost and everybody's balking at it, what does that tell you? And maybe I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's completely possible.
Yeah, no, that makes
no.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that is possible. So
What?
No, I think you know what you're doing. So, I mean, how many guys do you know that are trading cattle and lumber at the same time? I know one. So, yeah, you don't do that without
Two of the
doing
most
some
messed up
homework.
markets in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean,
He's
yeah.
just a
Do I opine? Ash, do I opine? Yeah. Do I have a shit ton of inventory? Yes. On the board always, but that doesn't mean that I just like if I can't sell over replacement costs, if I literally cannot sell over replacement costs, I'm not going to transact business.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going to transact business, this other guy is going to go and try to get somebody, talk them down, which is not really what I wanted to say. So I'm trying to be politically correct here. And he ends up taking a bad order. He ends up taking a bad order, and then he gets caught sideways, and then he's got to push it out another 2 weeks, and then the guy comes back to me, and then I got to get my replacement cost. But no wood has moved for 2 weeks. In that specific scenario, no wood has moved for 2 weeks.
Yeah, well,
So
we know that that's not what
happened.
We know that won't happen. The
What?
wood moves.
No, the wood moves. Somebody takes the order.
One of the biggest challenges in a market like this is knowing what replacement cost is, because you get the delta between right. The delta gets hard to go like and then all of a sudden somebody comes up with some, like you think that you know what the market is, and then somebody's got something $20 or $30 $1,000 cheaper, and then you're really freaked out because you're like going, is the market going down, or do I not know what's going on? And you either freezes you up, or you go F it and you just buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Understanding complete total cost placement cost is a tough one in Pine right now for a lot of reasons. I think prices continue to go up, but I just don't know what the other side looks like.
Are you a little skeptical?
I'm not trying to talk a market down. I'm not trying to do any of that, but I'm just participating. And if I can't make any money and transact business, I'm not going to do it for practice.
Sometimes the best order that
I owed a shit ton of wood through this whole thing, and I got my shit kicked in, and we won some and we lost some. But I can tell you right now, I don't need any more damn practice.
Sometimes
do you feel better,
Charles?
Do you feel better? Do you feel better getting more than 4 sentences in now?
Yeah, you're over your.
I do. I feel heard, Ash. I actually feel heard.
This week.
Charles, do you
next
realize
week I'll just put it on mute and nod my head
that sometimes the best orders are the ones you don't take?
100%.
Ashley, you look confused.
I just sold wood, and I feel like I sold it too damn cheap. Like I'm questioning myself.
Sometimes the two best things you can say is say no to an order or to fire a customer.
I don't like firing customers, but then I'm real selective with who I deal with. So to me, that's.
You can get them. You can go back to them the next day, but you want to fire them just overnight.
Oh, a temporary.
Yeah.
What do they call that in college?
No, you put them in the penalty box, right?
Yeah.
Put them in the penalty box.
That's when you open the black book.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys.
See ya.
All right. So hold on. I do have one question though. That little infographic that Kip has talked to everybody about, because I've heard it from 5 different people, at least in the past 24 hours.
I thought I was really special and that I got it. Oh, okay. No. Oh, okay. You mean
you might have got it first because you're better looking. But
anyhow, finish your thought.
What do you extract from that data? What is the probability of that repeating itself? Let me ask a better question. In your opinion, in your humble, tenured opinion.
So, I mean, it's kind of, in one sense, it's meaningless. So it's a 0 because it's an if. If they switch from being short to long, this is what has happened. But
everything's
well, but I mean, there's nothing to say that they're going to do that. I mean, I think the long.
I agree.
The long camp has been, really harping on this for 12 months, and it hasn't happened. At some point, it will happen. They will. They're not going to be short. They're not going to stay short forever. At some point, they will be long. And if they do that, we'll be $100 1,000 higher.
Yeah.
But I mean, the technical right now is the weekly chart is above its most recent downtrend. So, you know,
Yep.
I mean, like I said, a close over 620, and you're probably a scamper up to, you know, that 670 to $700 high. And, you know, I mean, that's probably what it is.
I was chatting with Kip last week, and he did say something that was really, it made a lot of sense. You know, last year, I think May went to 670, and we were a lot more bearish last May than we are now. Does that make sense?
You know, I don't know, how do you measure?
A lot of that was
Well,
a
that's
lot of
just
that
it.
was because of tariff talk, Ash.
Was
Remember
tariff.
when we kept poo-pooing the whole
Yeah,
tariff talk, and we're
100%.
like, we sold into this is another reason why the hedgers made money last year, is because we kept selling the rumor and then buying the fact, and the industry was buying the rumor and selling the fact, and it's like,
But that's
yeah,
true.
you're doing
but
it wrong.
But
you
back
know?
back then, we only had one item really moving up, and that was spruce. And now we have every single species moving higher.
That just
including
shows you production's been adjusted.
It
right?
does. Yeah.
Right. And,
So-
you know, I mean,
And species
you know, last
swapping
year
is
we
real.
We were rolling at $35 to $50 a thousand instead of like 15 or 20.
Boy,
So,
I wouldn't.
you know,
I wouldn't
what
want to be one of those. If I was listening to this, I probably wouldn't want to be one of those funds short right now. Oof.
I think we should
could-
scare the crap out of them.
You could be offside your whole month, your whole yearly bonus in like 2 weeks.
They might have to write a
Not if
check
you-
out of
not
their
if you
personal
lost.
account to
700, here
cover
we
the
go.
big. All right,
Boom.
boys, that's great. Let's
All
end
right.
on that
See you
note.
guys. Love you.
See you. Bye.
See ya.